podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Are you feeling triumphant and glorious after that? I'm a little bit giddy. I'm not like we're definitely going to win the league giddy, but I am a little bit like I think United are going to play very entertaining football this season giddy.
Well, the funny thing was, there was about 70 minutes in when Fellaini came on, or whenever he came on. It felt like a world anyway, because I was like, oh no, here we go. He's coming on to just to protect things. I think it was 2-0 at that stage, let's just shut the game down. And, Jose's got his buzzkill on, because at that point United were like 90% possession for the last 20 minutes or something, and West Ham were absolutely nothing. I was like, this is not the game to try and kill my buzz and to just try and shut it down. West Ham are pathetic. And we're clearly superior, maybe better prepared over the summer. I don't actually know anything about West Ham's summer, but just looked so much superior on the day. Don't do it. Fortunately, he brought Anthony Martial on as well.
Totally brought the buzz back.
He unkilled the buzzkill, as you said, on the WhatsApp group, which was good. But, it's 4-0 is a great result, and it was a very, very strong performance from United, but it wasn't a flamboyant performance. And so those two late goals from Martial and Pogba kind of give it that feel of yes. But there was definitely some measure of professionalism and structure to United's performance. But that's the kind of thing we expect from a great Mourinho side, isn't it? That kind of really overwhelmingly superior, but maybe not, won't be remembered in 30 years' time kind of performance.
Yeah, although, I'm not saying I'll remember this game in 30 years' time, but I'll definitely remember it, in a few weeks or months as a very, very enjoyable thing. Because I hear what you're saying about the professionalism, and you're absolutely right. But the flip side of that is there was a lot of really nice passing interchange. There was a lot of skipping away from challenges. Nemanja Matic made more successful dribbles in that game than he has at any point in his career. And he was like balling and scooping through balls and all over the place. Pogba was kind of really, there was a few times when you thought he was definitely going to lose the ball and he didn't. And then he made the pass instead of holding on to the ball, that's what you want. You want him beating three men and then immediately making the pass instead of holding on to it. And I thought Mata was absolutely excellent, and although and Mkhitaryan had some absolutely brilliant moments, he received some criticism, but ultimately he did get 2 assists in that game. And of course, we had Rashford running at defenders all the way through, making Pablo Zabaleta wish he was just anywhere else in the whole world. Not to mention the absolutely stellar through ball that Rashford played for Lukaku. Just United's first goal. If it had been 1-0, you'd be talking about what. We'd still remember that game just for that goal, because the way Matic won the ball back, fed Rashford and Lukaku's, the level of football intelligence on display as the two of them combined with that through ball and that run, which really...
Yeah, but I thought Lukaku wasn't smart enough to play for big clubs like Chelsea, or whatever that racist bastard Merson said this week. So, that's just rubbish, that argument completely, hasn't it? Lukaku's movement up front is very, very good. It's very good. He knows when to go and when to come deep, and his game's not built on having the ball into his feet, and he wants it in front of him. And when it is in front of him, he's pretty deadly. He almost certainly should have had a hat-trick today. We're recording Sunday night, so I wonder whether, it's a great debut for him, but I wonder whether he's thinking it could have been one of the very best ever. But either way, brilliant finish in off the post for the first goal. And you're right. The flamboyance came from the front men. What you're never going to get from a Mourinho side, I guess, is 5 or 6 players piling forward at any one time, even in the most desperate moments. But what what you do get is the freedom of the front guys to express themselves. And United did that really well today. And Pogba was outstanding, completely dominated midfield. Matic gave everyone the platform, very, very calm in possession, isn't he? Didn't have to do an awful lot of defending against a pretty meek West Ham side. And Rashford... loves to take on players and got West Ham's defence out of shape an awful lot. And Mata and Mkhitaryan basically shared duties at number 10. It was very nice.
Yeah, it was very nice. And I totally get the point you're making when you say you're not going to get 5 or 6 men piling forward at the same time. But we quite often got 5 or 6 men, especially 5 men, piling forward during that game. And Pogba, Mkhitaryan, Rashford, Mata and Lukaku were all attacking together quite a lot of the time. Even Matic got ahead of the ball a few times, or at least broke forward with the ball at his feet. And I think really the kind of the bit that's slightly limiting my complete joy about this game wasn't really anything to do with but it's Mourinho, so we're still going to kind of revert to type, which we may well do. But it was more about the fact that just West Ham were completely abject. For the first goal, Zabaleta's error is understandable, but he just absolutely bombs forward at the point at which Matic gets the ball off. I think it was Obiang that Matic won the ball off, and then so Rashford's just got acres of space running at 3 instead of 4. And then, of course, as has been very widely talked about, Arthur Masuaku made a complete hash of marking Lukaku for Mkhitaryan's free kick.
Yeah, as I said, I haven't really followed West Ham's summer, so I'm not sure exactly how they've been prepared, but they definitely looked a bit undercooked to me. They just weren't anywhere near as sharp as United. And look, this is the West Ham side that finished 11th last season, albeit only 5 points off 17th. So there was hardly any points between the middle-ranked clubs and just above the relegation zone, or in fact 8th downwards, really. They're a decent side, not a great side, but I think they're a bit better than that. I don't really expect United to be spanking every middle-ranked club from 8th down 4 or 5-0 this season. I really hope I'm wrong about that, because that'd be awesome. I mean, Mourinho talked in his pre-match press conference about the season. He was asked about the season when Real Madrid scored 126 goals, and he said, look, this is different. Real had played a bunch of teams that basically just gave up. We won 4-5-0 every week. It's not going to happen in the Premier League. I'd love it to, but I don't expect it. This was definitely a 3 out of 10 performance from West Ham United, as good as United were in attack. Yeah, no,
I kind of wonder, it also did look, funnily enough, I didn't realise that Mourinho had said that, but that's amazing, because that's exactly what happened. West Ham just, once Martial came on, they were like, oh, come on. Zabaleta was like, are you really doing this to me now? Bringing on, I've been destroyed by Rashford all night, and you're bringing on Martial. And we have to talk about the Frenchman's absolutely amazing cameo. That's got to be up there with the all-time United cameos.
Well, look, his first touch for his goal was, just amazing, world class. Yeah. Just he's into his feet, not quite clean into his feet, and he, his first touch takes it out of his feet, gives him the space to stroke it home. Look, Martial was good in the summer. He was good. Yeah. There are some people with a hashtag agenda against him in the world of social media. I have noticed, but definitely not me. I think I'd love to see him start every week. I don't know how you'd have got him in that side, or which player we would have dropped to get him in. But hey, I'll drop one of the defenders and play all 6 of them up front if necessary. That sounds good to me. But he's too good. There's talk of him going out on loan as part of transfer deals is absolute nonsense. This guy needs to be at United. He is going to contribute a lot, I think, this season. He's the guy who he can get 20 a season. If he plays enough, he can certainly get 15. And that's what Mourinho talked about also in a pre-match about, it needs to be more players than just the striker scoring the goals.
Which he'll have been presumably then delighted, although it's the one that he doesn't like as opposed to the one he likes, apparently, that scored. But maybe the Martial thing will work itself out over the course of the season, and he'll get plenty of game time. It's certainly a difficult decision next week against Swansea, where if you just assume they're battling for the the one position, Rashford or Martial, is a very difficult decision at the moment because they're both clearly in form. I feel terrible ever suggesting that Marcus Rashford shouldn't be in a United starting 11, but I think I'd start Martial ahead of him, but it's pretty marginal, and Rashford obviously brings a lot to the table of his own. But yeah, and Martial then got an assist as well, although I don't think he was trying to get an assist. I think he was trying to get the pass back to score again, but Pogba was like, no, look, we've all had our fun, come on. It's my turn now. I haven't scored yet. And he scored.
Yeah, well, last season that one would have hit the post.
Yes, clearly. We should talk a bit more about Matic, probably, because you said he didn't have a lot of defending to do, and that's kind of true. He only made 2 tackles in the game. Those were the only 2 tackles he had to make, and 1 interception.
Well, he spent most of the time dribbling, didn't he?
7 completed dribbles. The most he's ever... I think it's the most he's ever attempted, and it's certainly the most he's ever succeeded with, which is amazing. But he just looked... 100% dribble completion. Nice. Very nice. But he was just... we thought, right, Matic comes. The one big advantage is that he offers a platform for the rest of the players, and I think we probably thought that was maybe in a 4-3-3. But perhaps because West Ham offered so little, Matic was able to do that job completely fine in a 4-2-3-1. And Pogba, dropped back and did some proper midfield work, but he didn't really have to. It was basically optional, wasn't it? And I didn't realise Matic was such a baller. Like his range of passing, the style of play. He just seemed to play with a massive spring in his step, a huge degree of confidence and purpose. It was lovely to see. He will not be that good every week, will he?
No, look, there's going to be games when he's under far more pressure than that. It's not as if West Ham were pressing high to put him under pressure. So he had a very easy time on the ball. He broke ahead of halfway occasionally. Didn't spend an awful lot of time in the opposition half. Used the ball very effectively. He's a very neat passer off either foot. He's, as I said last week on the pod, he's very, very comfortable in tight spaces, and that will be important in big games. The ability to retain possession. You look at the talking of retaining possession. Look at the United team that started. There are 8 midfielders in it, basically. So it should be very easy to retain the ball, and Matic is going to be one of the best at that, I think. What we don't know is how much how dynamic he will be when United are under much more pressure. We'll see, but he's certainly been good in the Chelsea side that has won a lot of games over the last few years. United will not dominate games like this every week. I'm pretty, unless something has changed dramatically from last season, I'm pretty sure that's not the case. And then we'll see how effective he really is for the role he's come into the team for.
The Chelsea thing is interesting because you mentioned that they've won a lot of games. They've also won 2 league titles, haven't they? So he's clearly got it in that sense. He can perform when the pressures are not in the sense that you're talking about of like the pressure directly from the other team, but the kind of more ethereal pressure that comes with trying to win games when you're competing for a title, which we've seen at United over the years, how much having players around who knew what it took to win made a difference. And so that's kind of really promising as well. And of course, you'd imagine Mourinho will play a very different system when it comes to games when he thinks his midfielders are going to be pressed a lot, not necessarily for the better.
Well, the interesting debating point, isn't it? Herrera not in the team today. Does that mean that he's competing with Matic for a place now, and therefore not a first choice in Mourinho's team? Mkhitaryan played at 10, meant that Pogba effectively played at 8, and Mata came into the side against top teams. Does one of Mkhitaryan or Mata drop out? Herrera come in? And Pogba go a bit forward? Probably.
I think the answer to that question is just yes, isn't it? I think it's quite straightforward. I think the answer to both questions is yes. In the first 11 at home, when we're looking to beat down tough defences, not tough, but, deep-lying defences, Herrera won't be first choice, but I think he'll be there for all the big games. I think he's way ahead of Fellaini as, strengthening United's midfield, and Fellaini is there to bring on late in games or to play up front in games when United haven't, or to play at 10 basically, not to play at 6. We hope. We can but hope. A word for a much maligned player on this podcast, Daley Blind. Very good game.
Yeah, certainly his best game since the end of last season, because he was pretty terrible all throughout the summer. Maybe it's just not his time. Maybe he needs to go have a haircut or something. But
no. You listen. I'm not having that. You having a go at him for being pretty. No, it's the fiery competitive spirit. He can't get it going for pathetic training matches and pre-season friendlies. He's like, no, I want the juice, man. I need the juice. I don't actually believe that, but
No. No, I don't think that's Daley Blind, is it?
No.
He did fine. It's one of the more troubling spots in the United team. I mean, I guess Mourinho thinks that the left wing is, but if having Martial and Rashford as your options is troubling, then please. I think most clubs in the country would like to have that problem. But left back definitely is a problem. I mean, Luke Shaw's out for a long time, it seems. When he gets fit again, who knows? It doesn't seem to be Mourinho's favourite at all. Darmian very, very limited in an attacking sense, which I guess is why Blind played today. Much, much better going forward. A lot of touches from Blind today, over 70 touches. Got a lot of the ball, although I think 15 of them might have been from corners or something. But
we had a lot of corners.
A lot of corners, yeah. I'm making that number up, by the way, but 7. It felt like a lot.
7 was Blind's corner number.
15, 7, What's the difference? He did all right.
What were your favourite things about that game then? What did you think were the best bits?
I don't know, 4 goals was pretty good. I mean, to be really reductive about a game, goals were good.
They were the best.
Goals were good. Pogba dominating in central midfield. That's the kind of performance we want from him. We want that performance in the really big games, of course, which didn't happen as often last season. The goal helps him with his confidence and the perception of him, because that's the thing that was missing. Jones and Bailly were very good at the back, really comfortable, I thought. I mean, West Ham had a few chances, but only really one decent save from De Gea, I think, that I can remember.
Yeah, me too.
And then the interplay between Rashford, Mkhitaryan, Mata and Lukaku was great.
Yeah, there was a couple of bits which didn't result in the goal. The one that led to the Daley Blind shot, I think it might have been Pogba that put in the cross eventually, or maybe it was even Valencia. But it was just some really lovely interplay in the middle of the park, some one-touch football between Mata and Lukaku and Mkhitaryan. I mean, I'm sure this will come back to haunt us, but this mythical, terrible first touch of Romelu Lukaku's has not yet turned up in a United shirt.
No, but it's not that he's got a terrible first touch. It's actually his how smart he is using the ball when sorry, that's a really wrong word. How quick he is to use the ball when the ball's into his feet. So actually, what tends to happen is he gets the ball into his feet, needs an extra touch, and then plays the ball, and he's just not as crisp in the passing as some players are in that position. So, right. I think it costs United half a second in certain situations when his back's to the goal or it's in tight space and he gets his ball into his feet. It's not Berber-esque in the touch. It's not Ibrahimovic-esque either, and he doesn't use it. He's not the kind of player who turns and plays a ball. But that's not what United have bought him for. I think if you're going to compare him to those kind of players, if one would compare him to those kind of players, or make the analysis of his touch against them, it's a bit unfair. But he will get that kind of ball into his feet quite a lot at United, and then he's going to have to get a bit better technically if he's going to come up to that standard. And put the ball in front of him, he's great. Yeah, explosive.
And he was able to today. There was one little flick behind his, a flick with his wrong foot kind of thing behind his other foot, behind his standing leg, to play a little interplay. I think with Rashford, it was some really nice build-up play. A few times where he did that, and of course. You mentioned Berbatov. Rashford tried the Berb. He tried the Berb against West Ham. Right, it was against West Ham too, for that Ronaldo goal. Where Berbatov does the world's most outrageous skill. Rashford tried it, didn't quite come off, but it was close.
Practice.
Yeah, lovely to see him trying something.
On the West Ham side, good to see Chicharito back at Old Trafford.
Was it Is it?
Yeah.
He was snidey,
He's a nice guy.
diving all over the place. He is a fake nice guy, Chicharito is. I'm calling it. I don't know. I'm not 100. No, that's probably too far.
Since he left United, I mean, he's had 3 seasons away. One at Real Madrid on loan, came back, played 1 game for the club, and 2 years in Bayer Leverkusen, where he's got a lot of goals in his first season, not as many in his second.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought he was better outside the box than when he left.
Yeah.
I feel like he's developed more of an all-round game. I'm only saying that based on 1 game because I have to say I don't watch a lot of Bayer Leverkusen. I don't know about you. Maybe you do.
No.
More of a football hipster than me these days.
Right. Yeah. That's right. That's an apt description. No, of course it was nice to see him back, and Fred the Red went and gave him a bit of a pat on the back, which was nice. But no, he did a lot of diving. If he wouldn't have celebrated a lot if he'd scored, I think. And I kind of would have been like, you're not celebrating this goal, but you did definitely try and cheat to get goals multiple times. So, anyway, no, that's fine. Joe Hart got a lovely reception from K-Stand. It was funny watching him grin as he walked over to the United fans who were all kind of grinning back at him in a gleefully mocking sort of way.
I was kind of hoping for a Hart moment.
Yeah.
And it didn't quite happen.
No,
he was soundly beaten for all of the goals.
None of the goals were really his fault. Maybe could have done better for that Pogba one, but Pogba will surprise you, and I'm sure he thought the ball was going to go back to Martial. The free kick from Mkhitaryan, United's got a goal from a set piece. It's the dream. The dream is real. We've got all these giant humans, and we actually had a player put the ball on one of their heads for a change. It was lovely.
Yeah, let's hope we get a few more of those. And, well, I think we will. I mean, Lukaku's clearly good in the air, but, yeah, big team, lots of physicality in there. I think we'll score a few from set pieces. Hopefully.
I'm laughing.
As long as Phil Jones doesn't go back to corner taking.
I'm laughing because I just went to our Twitter questions, and the first one says, not to be knee-jerk about this, but are Manchester United the greatest team in history?
Yes, definitely.
Clearly.
This week, top of the league. I mean, I'm very much against publishing league tables. Publishing, I mean, you don't publish anything these days, do you? But publishing league tables before at least 3 games have been played. But I may change my tune this week.
Yeah, it was that question was from @Tishang, by the way. But yeah, no, I also am against it. It's ridiculous. But when Pogba scored the 4th, it was clear. Sudden realisation. Oh my goodness, we're top of the league. And in fact, before we get to Rankar's questions, there's a slight break from the format, but feels kind of appropriate. We talked about Neymar last week as a little break from the format. This week, have you watched much of the football this weekend? Because it's been a delectable festival of delights in the Premier League this weekend.
Yeah, I enjoyed some of the football. I watched a few games on one of my totally legally acquired streaming services.
Yeah, which games did you check out?
I watched quite a lot of the Chelsea game. I watched a lot of Everton as well.
Right.
I watched the second half of Everton. You sent a WhatsApp at halftime saying Rooney's playing out of his skin. He was an absolute dog in that second half. I was like, "What are you talking about?" He scored a goal, but it was awful.
I only saw not a vine, but I only saw a tiny video clip of the goal. I don't know what you're talking about. It's I hadn't seen it. He just absolutely he did brilliantly for the goal. Did really well to win the ball back. Put himself in a really good position to receive a pass, and then his run for the goal was at vintage Rooney in a way, slightly slower than vintage Rooney, but it was hilarious watching him celebrate like he'd won the more than when he actually did win the league with United.
Yeah, no, there was some good game. I mean, Watford-Liverpool was hilarious.
Oh my goodness! So it started
for very many reasons.
It started on Friday night with Leicester-Arsenal, which
I didn't see that game. I just saw the highlights only.
It was I don't know, it was apart from maybe you could say, well, the ending was slightly disappointing, which is fair enough, but the fact that it was Olivier Giroud scoring a header from a corner kind of made it all right in a way, because that had a kind of humorous quality to it in and of itself. But Arsenal was such a shambles, and Leicester were really good going forward, but in fact both teams were really good going forward and absolutely terrible defending. And then Craig Shakespeare at 3-2 up takes off a midfielder and brings on a striker. It's What are you doing? What are you doing here, Mr. Shakespeare? I don't think Ranieri would have done that, to be fair. But yeah, it was a hilarious game of football. And then Liverpool.
Well, just looking at Arsenal's shape.
Yeah. That is a strong word.
Yeah, well, they played three at the back, but both their wing-backs basically played in central midfield. It was like a 2-2-1, 2-2-1-2 formation or something.
Inverted wing-backs. He's trying to out-Guardiola.
Yeah, shambles, isn't it?
Here's one for you, Tom.
Yeah, missed the F-bombs last week. Yeah, I'll just throw a few in there.
Keep Tom on his oral toes. That's A-U.
Oh,
A-U-R-A-L.
I haven't seen any of the overseas football this weekend. Is there anyone else playing yet? The France started, didn't they? Because Neymar missed Paris Saint-Germain's opening game. Registration didn't come through in time or something like that. Probably had to be signed by a minister over in Qatar.
I think he's playing. I think it's happening right now and he's playing.
All right.
Yeah. Neymar makes debut. It's 3-0 as we speak. Oh, and Neymar scored. So there you go.
Of course he did. A lot of talk. Our favourite Duncan Castles had a piece in the Times saying that Mbappe to Paris Saint-Germain is done.
He also did a tweet where he said Nemanja Matic has given Mourinho 6 points this season, the 3 lost by Chelsea and the 3 United won.
Oh, wow.
Man's
He's still on that retainer, isn't he?
He's unstoppable. The Liverpool game was absolutely hilarious. First of all, it was just really funny because the Arsenal game was Friday night. This was Saturday lunchtime. It was like, who are you all and what have you done with the Premier League footballers, from a defensive perspective. But like the fact that Watford were ahead was great and you were just kind of thinking, I'm not going to get too excited. And Liverpool were really, really good at the kind of beginning of the second half and scored, and it was like, this is not as funny anymore. But then an absolutely hilarious equaliser from Watford just to prove that the gods of humorous football were still with us. And the fact that this has happened and then Chelsea lost, and you kind of all last season this sort of stuff was happening and it was all building up to 0-0 draw at Old Trafford on the Sunday, but this time it's like not only did all that happen, but it was compounded by us actually winning 4-0. It's like it's glorious.
Meanwhile, over in Dijon, it finished 4-1 to Monaco. No Mbappe.
Mbappe.
On the bench, but didn't come on. Who scored the hat-trick then, Paul?
Was it Fabinho?
No, it
okay. Was it Radamel?
No, only for the fanboys would that have happened. Worst luck. It was Falcao who scored the hat trick.
Good lad. Well, look, the lo 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 chant clearly inspired him, even though it was adapted for Romelu Lukaku, which I'm in favour of. They started off doing Romelu Lukaku, and I was like, come on, no, we can do better. And lo 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 is much better than do. It's clearly the case.
Lyrically,
lyrically, thematically, but no, musically, it's not based on an old Agadoo song. No, Black Lace, they did the song Agadoo. So that's bad 80s knowledge there for a second.
Yeah, well, your knowledge of bad 80s music is far superior to mine, I suggest.
Wow. You had Now albums, Ed. We were children at the same time.
I deny all knowledge of this. Prove it.
What's that guy? Glenn Medeiros. He had a Glenn Medeiros single. I remember that.
I don't even know who Glenn Medeiros is.
Pretty sure he had a Glenn Medeiros single.
Yeah, let's move on quickly.
All right, should we do some Rankcast questions?
Let's do it.
Okay. This is so mean. Tasty Batman says, which defenders will score more goals than Rooney this season?
Oh, ouch. Yeah, well, Mourinho's talking about having a defender who can score 5 to 10 goals from headers. And yes, Rooney might score 5 to 10 goals this season.
At Mr. TJ Fox says, Rashford had a decent game today. What do you think Mourinho's plan is for the kid? Do you think he's trying to transform him into a winger?
Well, I hope not, because he's not a natural winger, and he's, he I guess is playing as a wide forward. He's not doing an awful lot of covering of Daley Blind at left back today. It's much harder in games when he does have to do that, though. That's when his confidence dipped a lot last season. So he wants to play through the middle. He's a striker.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he's also wants to play, so he's going to be a team player and he's going to try and learn the stuff that Thierry learned, right? That's what.
Yeah, I guess so. But, we talked about it last season when we had kind of mooted whether Lukaku might happen to United, and Lukaku's 24. So this is for Rashford's long-term glory, or long-term chances of playing at centre forward. It's not good.
No,
because Rashford's going to be Lukaku's going to be around for a while, and I don't think United are going to be playing two strikers very often.
No, absolutely not. Although when he does play out wide, he does get to come in the inside a lot, doesn't he? Which causes a bit of a tactical problem. But for him, it means that the ball he is going to have the ball in the box quite a lot of the time, but not as much obviously as he would if he was playing out and out centre forward. James at J Bonser says, on a scale of Schmeichel to Taibbi, how glad are you that we didn't trade De Gea in for Joe Hart? Imagine. Joe Hart is just not that good. He's just, I know he's City and everything, so maybe this is just confirmation bias or whatever, but he's not that good.
Yeah, he's not that good.
De Gea on the
very
other
good.
Hand, is very, very, very good. All right, at Michelle Chikwan says, this is my agenda to get you to read one of these on every podcast. So there now will follow a dramatic reading. Man United, so strong and muscular, but also graceful. Strong Lukaku and soft Mata. Nice mix, like a strong lion with the graceful night snow. A quote from the best account on Twitter at MUFC_Facebook, which collates all the incredible quotes you get about United in the comments on United's Facebook. Like a strong lion with the graceful night snow. It's poetry, man.
It is. Seems an unlikely scenario.
Yeah, sure.
Mountain lion.
Yeah, mountain lion, or, lion in a safari park in Kidderminster. At Richie C131 says, is this the best opening day of the season since Michael Knighton juggled the ball to the Stretford end?
Well, we've had lots of goals and a fine United win. Michael Knighton, oh dear.
At Matt99 Allen says, will Lukaku break Shearer's record? No is the answer, but he might do.
What for Premier League goals?
Yeah.
Well, he's got about 190 more to go. So
yeah,
it seems unlikely he's going to have to play another 10 years in the Premier League and keep very fit. Yeah.
If the defenders keep defending like they've been defending this weekend, then definitely, he'll break it by,
June.
Middle of 2.5 years' time. Yeah. I think this might be in response to the fact that I was talking about knee-jerk responses for an article I have to write. But at Nick Gilbert86 says, who gets a stand named after them first? Matic or Lukaku? Are Matic, Pogba and Lukaku the new Holy Trinity?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think we should build a statue. Where Sam Platts used to be. Just keep it away for a while and we can bring it closer when they're actually good.
At Yikchi04 says, is this podcast just going to be 60 minutes of unbridled giddiness? Have you met Ed?
Yeah, unbridled and giddy, for sure.
Yeah. At Luke Jurdy says, do you think Lukaku will score more than Rooney? I guess if you mean ever, then probably not. But if you mean this season, if you mean this weekend, he just definitely did. But yeah, there's a long way to go. But I suspect Romelu Lukaku will score more goals this season than Wayne Rooney. That's not such a far-fetched shout, perhaps. At Sean Hamster says, did that look more comfortable than anyone expected? The team looked so solid in every position for that game. I know it's early days, but ... I feel like the response to that has to be a little bit, yes, but West Ham.
Yeah, but West Ham this week, I think, I don't think West Ham are getting relegated. Or, unless something really weird has happened. So they were very poor this week. So that's the only mitigating factor. But United had a very good summer programme. Yeah, absolutely. They are primed to hit the ground running in the Premier League, which is exactly what Mourinho wanted and asked for. He wanted a longer summer programme. And actually, if you look at the fixtures coming up, Swansea, Everton, Leicester, I can't remember who else. It's quite a few winnable games before that derby. I think it's in September, isn't it? I could be making that up completely, but United have a decent start to the season. Could win 5 or 6 in a row, and then everyone's going to be feeling really good.
At Heinlein says, would you swap Martial with Bale or any other player? He says, only forget about money altogether, like just football on the pitch. I wouldn't swap Martial with Bale, which I recognise might make me ridiculous, but mostly because I think Bale, I'd be really worried about the injury situation. Some people have said, no, Real Madrid just keep rushing him back from injuries, but I'm suspicious of ankle injuries and explosive players. And I just also really, really, really rate Anthony Martial, really highly. Maybe time will prove that to be a ridiculous decision, but for now, no, I wouldn't swap him with Bale. I mean, I'd swap him for, Neymar or Messi or whatever, but probably not too many others.
Yeah, I mean, but it's based on potential, isn't it, rather than actual performances. Coming back to my last comment, no City game, made that up. In fact, United don't play a rival for a Champions League place. I know it's dangerous to talk about it like that until the middle of October. So, theoretically could win 6 or 7 games in a row, maybe more. Theoretically, that's giddiness for you.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
But it's a friendly fixture list at the start of the season, and if we're looking for momentum and confidence, that's good.
With Tinder coming in as sleeve sponsor, says at Jack of Ireland. Jack of Ireland. Don't! Oh, come on!
I think you just pitched a new Channel 5 documentary or reality TV series there.
Really upset right now. Anyway, he says, where are we going to put the Premier League winners' patches? Good question. At Torso of the Week, Neil Smith says, I've been listening since 2013. Was that the best performance? Is that our best performance since? Maybe since August 2013, maybe you'll both be happy for once. That's a dig. That is a dig.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, actually, it's United's best result for 3 and a bit years. We had
a lot of questions on a similar theme. Was this the best performance post Sir Alex? But my answer to that question is no way. The Van Gaal performances against City, Liverpool, Spurs in that 1 month when we were good under him were against proper teams and they were scintillating. United were absolutely superb in those games and playing against really good teams. So, I mean, this is probably a lot more sustainable than those performances were. This didn't have Ashley Young or much Marouane Fellaini in it, but no, it's not there yet.
All right.
Just how brilliant are United? 1999, 2004 or 2008? That's from Matt Mitchell 3.
Yeah, let's just call it 2005 for now.
Yes, somewhere between 2004 and 2008. We hope. It's on the way. This is just brilliant. And a final one. We've got this is the penultimate question. At Left Outside 15, Jake says, how many points will we win the league by?
Yeah, -5 to 8.
Okay. At Hamad_Darwish says, why did Chelsea sell us Matic?
Yeah,
which does seem to be such a good question.
Yeah,
right now.
I mean, I guess the player really wanted to go, and Chelsea were very keen on bringing Bakayoko, who I guess Conte really rates very highly. Bakayoko's, for what I've seen of him, is a more all-round player. He kind of had a defensive role at Monaco, but not exactly. And they're getting a far younger player. Maybe they just wanted to balance out the age of the squad. So, if I was Chelsea, I'd be trying to sell a player like that abroad rather than to a rival. Or maybe they're just that arrogant that they think we're not a rival anymore.
Yeah, or maybe the money they could get from United was in a different category and that's somehow important to them, although that would seem so counterproductive given, what we know about their kind of overall situation, and just presumably they keep the entire club afloat on the basis of loan fees or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe money does count at Chelsea, but financial fair play doesn't exist anymore, does it? So maybe, I don't know, I haven't checked out Gazprom's share price recently, although not that Abramovich actually owns any shares in it anymore.
Yeah, so that probably wouldn't be too much of a factor. But yeah, no, it does seem like a very strange decision. And like in the week just gone, Conte was talking about it a lot. And, you know, you can read between the lines of this stuff, but he seemed to be pretty genuinely saying, I definitely didn't want to sell Nemanja Matic, you know, and you can see why from their point of view. I mean, I don't want to go too far because it is one game and he's 29 and who knows what's going to happen in the future. But you know, on the basis of the opening weekend, Duncan Castle's banter about that 6-point swing on the basis of Matic is not a million miles removed from what has actually literally happened.
Yeah, it is good bant, isn't it? I'm sure it wound some blues up.
It is. Yeah. Many a true word is spoken in bant, as well, you know. So I guess we got to preview the Swansea game. Oh, I don't even know what happened to Swansea this weekend.
0-0 draw against Southampton.
That's right. Match of the day was on late, and my recording didn't record properly, and that game didn't make it. That is not a terrible result for Swansea, is it? At the beginning of the season.
No, although Southampton have their own problems at the moment. I think everyone expects Swansea to be in the mix for relegation this season. They haven't got a good side. It looks like they're going to lose Sigurdsson, although they are holding out for a very healthy fee, I think, for a player who failed on his one attempt at joining a bigger club. So we'll see about that one. But yeah, I don't think anyone thinks that Swansea are going to be much good. When it comes to matches of the day, by the way, since I'm all into newfangled streaming services, I've been enjoying the BBC's streaming app, which will not play anything. Perfect picture, just has the spinny thing, and they put this weird grey shade over the picture when the spinny thing's on because it's some kind of design feature. Very annoying, BBC.
Please stop it, BBC.
Please stop it. I do pay my licence fee, even though I do not have normal over-the-air broadcast TV.
Well, there you go. You're entitled to Alan Shearer in better quality than you are currently receiving Alan Shearer.
I've had to, be reduced to watching it on Reddit.
This summer they've signed Erwin Mulder. Know a lot about Erwin Mulder, Ed?
No.
No, me neither. I'm imagining that Erwin Scully was not available. No, come on, listen. He's 28 years old and used to play for Heerenveen. There you go. Before that, he played for Feyenoord for years and years and years. Good fact about Erwin Mulder there. Roque Mesa from Las Palmas. Now, that is a name that has definitely crossed my radar before, but I don't think it's for playing for Las Palmas. Maybe. He's been there for most of his career. Do you know who Roque Mesa is, Ed?
Sorry, I do not.
I'm pretty sure that the reason I know him is because he has a slightly memorable name, and it's the kind that pops up in Championship Manager. I'm going to live Google Roque Mesa. He's a Spanish footballer. He's a midfielder. There you go. So they bought a Spanish midfielder and a Dutch man who might also be a midfielder. So not
goalkeeper.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Not exactly electric signings. They've lost Bafétemi Gomes, who's had his moments in a Swansea shirt.
Not very many.
Not
moments.
very many. No, they mostly were
Jack
against
Cork,
us.
who's a better player, who's was actually a decent player in the midfield. Yeah, I think they're going down.
I mean, we'll see, right? Paul Clement did a pretty good job of stabilising the ship, but after years of their...
You mean Paul Merson's Paul Clement?
After years of really stable ownership, they sold a big chunk to two American investors, and funnily enough, it's all gone a bit wrong since then. So it's almost like fan ownership and long-term planning was the fundamental basis of Swansea's 2000s and 2010s overperformance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sort of want them to go down, even though I've got nothing against them as a club, just for abandoning such a good model and such a kind of
pretty city.
Good film. Good film. What do you think United will do against the kind of challenge presented by the Swans, the mighty Swans of South Wales?
Well, I'm kind of more interested in Mourinho's approach. He's we talked about it last week about potential for playing a back three. I don't think he's not going to do it in a game like this. United will play, we'll turn over the back four. It probably looks like a similar kind of shape to the one today, sort of 4-2-3-1-ish. I suppose Mkhitaryan's a bit more advanced than perhaps other options. Its approach from United would be interesting against a team that United should be battering. Will it be the more circumspect performances that we got a lot of the time last season against teams that United really should have battered, or do we take on something from today's game and really push forward? I hope it's the latter. I hope we really go batter them. So that says a lot, doesn't it? United fans saying I want to win 5-0, but I want one of that'll signal a couple of things if United really do put in a good performance. One, that Mourinho feels confident enough to allow the shackles off a little bit, and two, that United mentally move forward and they are able to go do that.
One of the things that I thought was a pretty substantial vindication of something that you were talking about a lot last season, and it's early days yet, of course, but I was generally on the side of, listen, United are creating enough really good chances and Zlatan's just not taking enough of them. And you were saying that's true, but there's just something about the team with Zlatan leading the line. And, Lukaku leading the line, it doesn't half look like, this is a kind of ridiculous thing to say about Ibrahimovic, but I am talking about 35-year-old Ibrahimovic. It doesn't half look to me like if you were a central defensive pairing in the Premier, like a middling Premier League side, don't you think you might pick the United with Ibrahimovic up top over the United with Lukaku up top?
Sure, you definitely would. Much easier to mark. I mean, the thing was that Ibra took so many shots from so many different angles, and is a good finisher, even if he did miss an awful lot of chances, that he scored plenty of goals. But I think you'd find it much easier to mark Ibrahimovic. It might be a physical battle, but he's definitely not as dynamic.
I sort of feel like if we do get him back, we should just swap him out for games against the top six. Just play Ibra instead of Lukaku. So we've got a flat track bully for all the flat tracks and a big game hero for the big games. Totally works.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of talk about Ibra coming back, and Mourinho admitted that talks have been going on. I mean, and I guess that gives United more options towards the back end of the season if the team's in an awful lot of competition still. I do wonder whether it just be just lead to some of the performances that we got from United last season, right? You don't change anything. Why would anything change?
But then some of the performances we got from United last season were like absolutely crucial goals in a load of big games. I don't know. Think about the League Cup final. It was very different because Zlatan was there, wasn't it? He's definitely got some magic. And he's Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He's an amazing footballer. And I mean, the one thing that would worry me almost more than the style changing would be the kind of sideshow of it all. It's a bit Faustino Asprilla, isn't it? Like, I guess it sort of depends on whether it's working or not. If United are in a really strong position at that stage of the season, if we do re-sign him, I do hope it wouldn't be on the proviso that he's going to get the metaphorical number 9 shirt back, if not the literal one, and kind of guaranteed to be starting every game. That'd be a mess, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Well, we'll see. That's for the months to come. I mean, he really should not be playing before the end of the year, but he is Zlatan. He released a load of videos this week, didn't he, of him working out, lifting weights and stuff like that.
He's a powerful man, there's no doubt about it. So, United are travelling to a powerful team, or at least a team whose nickname is named after a powerful bird.
What?
They can break your arms, swans can. That's the fact about swans.
Stretching the segue there, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, I mean, stretched it like... I was going to say stretched it like Zlatan's ACL, but that's...
Wow.
That's not acceptable.
Cruel.
That's not acceptable. I was very sad when Zlatan hurt himself. But yeah, anyway, United are playing Swansea, and Swansea should. I mean, they've caused us a load of bother even when they definitely shouldn't have recently. Hopefully, we'll just take the show on the road, and we won't have a season like the last few seasons. It's always seemed to be we're quite good at home or quite good away. Hopefully, this will be a time when we can strike a balance and just be good generally.
Let's hope so. Yeah. Look, definite progression over the summer. 3 of the 4 players that Mourinho wanted to come in. A very good summer programme that has allowed United to hit the ground running. We'll see where it goes, in terms of the really big games. But as I was saying earlier, not many of those to come just yet, which is great. Going to build some momentum, I feel.
I think you're right. I mean, this is probably not that surprising to any of the listeners, but I do feel very optimistic heading into next weekend. After that, definitely looks like a team ready to do some damage to Premier League. They're just massive as well. The size of them, honestly, I think we might be a bit terrifying now. This is a bit knee jerk for sure, but there's a kind of sense that that is a team that could impose itself on the division if they can keep their confidence levels high. There's a lot of the right ingredients in place anyway.
Definitely terrifying Paul Merson.
Yeah, they're terrifying all the right people. Oh, that's good. Anyway, we'll be back with another one of these next week. Patreon backers, stay tuned. We are going to talk about best United debuts after Big Rom scored a big brace on his big home debut.
Very good. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.